Good morning. So I have a rolled blanket. I'm going to show you where I want you to start. So grab a blanket or a towel or a bolster if you have one. And I want you to bring it under your shoulder blades and just lay over, just like this. And if you could make sure you're muted, that would be great. So grab that. I'm just going to close these blinds as the sun comes up. So lay over your roll of whatever you're laying on. And it should feel comfortable. Good morning, ladies. It's so lovely to see you this morning. So we're going to continue our practice of being grateful. And I wanted to start with this position. Now your legs can be straight or they can be bent with your knees touching. I want you to feel supported. And so one of the quickest ways to get into the embodiment of gratitude is to soften our heart center. Now, the upper back, the thoracic spine, has less mobility than the low back. And my theory is that it is protecting your heart. So I want you to consciously, in your head, just say, I release my heart center. Whatever you're laying on your upper back, whatever you're laying on, I want you to start to soften all the places that feel a little hard. All the places that feel a little hard. I want you to arrive in your space, in your practice for yourself. And I want you to finish this affirmation. I am grateful for. I am grateful for. And I want you to breathe deep into the belly and expand through the ribs, the intercostal muscles, all the way to the heart. Let your breath be full and expansive, full and expansive. Notice as you're inhaling and exhaling if there's kind of any sticky spots, any area that might require a little bit of extra attention. I am grateful for. And then with your next inhalation, reach the arms up and exhale, bend the elbows. So you're going to inhale, reach the arms up, and exhale, bend the elbows. So just getting the shoulder blades moving this morning. Use the breath, exhaling to bend and inhaling to lengthen. I don't know, I hear some clanking and popping, just creating a little more space. Let's do that 2 more times. Oh, that feels good. And then come off of whatever you're laying on and lay back down and bring your knees in towards your chest. Notice what the back body feels like on your mat now. Lengthen your legs up towards the sky and rotate the ankles. You might have to hold your legs up a little bit and then the other direction. And then pedal the feet out. Lengthen the left leg on the ground, bend the right knee, reach up and grab the outer edge of your foot. Don't pull it too far that you start rolling over to the right side, but just enough that you can feel the hip flexor. The upper body is quiet. And then second side. Oh. And then release. Give the knees one more hug. Bring your hands onto your knees and make big circles, taking them apart. So instead of keeping them together, take them apart. And then the other direction, so just waking up our hips. And then slowly roll yourself up, cross one ankle over the other, and come onto your hands and your knees. Now, depending on where you are, your camera may not be positioned so I can see your whole body, and that's okay. This practice is on you. I know you can see me fully. So whatever doesn't feel okay or something you're not sure of, just modify as you need. As you need, just modify. And so you're going to reach your arms forward and shift your hips back so you're not quite coming into child's pose, but maybe more of a puppy. And I want you to soften. Imagine that I had my hands right in between your shoulder blades, that you could soften the upper back just a little bit. So this practice this morning is all about getting into the heart. It's all about opening the upper back so that you can feel more expansive in the heart. And in feeling more expansive of the heart, we can start to cultivate more gratitude into our bodies. And so keep thinking about that affirmation I asked you to fill into the blanks. I am grateful today for, and I want you to find the thing that you're grateful for. It could be just for the morning. It could be for this practice. It could be for your day. It could be for your family. It could be for an experience that you have planned. Maybe you're going to work today, whatever it is. And then slowly, as you come forward, round the back body, bring weight into the hands and lower all the way down. And inhale, lift the heart. Now it's early in the morning. For some of us, the body likes to be a little bit warm. So maybe it's just a little back bend. You're going to push back in and find your way back to puppy. So we're going to warm up the spine just like that. You're going to inhale, come forward, round. You're going to exhale, lower weight into the hands. You're going to inhale, lift the heart. Exhale into puppy. Take 2 more breaths. Come forward. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift the heart. And exhale into puppy. Now I'm going to always give you the easier version before I introduce anything a little bit more challenging, because you know your body. You are your greatest teacher. So if something then is too hard, you know that you can go back to where we were. Let's do one more. Come forward, lower down. Inhale, lift the heart. And this time, either find your way into puppy or downward facing dog. Now, every space I want you to think about is the heart center. So from the back of the heart, whether you're in downward dog or you're in puppy, I want you to think about right in between your shoulder blades. Like if you had a Lululemon shirt on, you know, they have the logo right in between the heart center. I know that probably wasn't their intention when they were designing their clothing, but that's where I want you to think about. Oh. And then if you are in puppy, you're just going to come to your knees, and we're going to step our right foot out to the outside of our hands. So you're in this lunge, come down on your back knee. And you can get there any way you need to. Point your right toes out a little bit and maybe start to roll to the outer edge of the foot. Now, if you can get down to the floor, you can bring your forearms down to the floor. If it's too far, you're going to just stay upright. If you have blocks, you might want to use blocks. I didn't ask you to bring any, but if you happen to have some, or even like your blanket. And then I just want you to add a little bit of movement here where you're dropping into the left hip. So we're just slowly waking up. And then bring your right hand to your right thigh and open the shoulder. You could bring your hand behind your head, because remember, we're getting into the heart today. One of the things we talked about yesterday is it's really easy to find gratitude when our day is flowing and when things are easy. But how do we begin to cultivate gratitude when we're challenged, when we're afraid? Can you look at the opportunity to flip the script? Can you look at the space to maybe find something positive in the experience? And then slowly release. And then either find your way back onto your hands and your knees, or find your way back into downward facing dog. And then left foot forward to the outside of your hands. Come down on your knee. Point your left toes out a little bit and add a little bit of movement. As we know, negativity breeds more negativity. The other thing we talked about was energetically, could you line up with the energy of gratitude, right? As we know, people who are grateful are happier people. There's actually science around that it raises your serotonin and your dopamine levels. You're happier if you're grateful. And then This time, instead of stepping back, you're going to actually step forward and fold. Let your head go. Bend your knees slightly, interlace your hands behind your back, and stretch the arms. Now, it might just be enough to have your hands interlaced. Maybe that's enough. Maybe they're right here. And if that's the case, then you're going to focus on taking the shoulders back a little bit. So the shoulder blades come together. One more breath right here. Oh, release the hands and inhale, come all the way up. Reach the arms up towards the sky and exhale, hands down. So you're standing at the top of your mat. Inhale and rise. Exhale and fold. Inhale, look up, side body nice and long. Exhale, right leg back. Now you can keep your back knee up, or you can bring your back knee down if you need more support. Interlace your hands behind your head, bring your elbows in, but take the armpits back. So the second you take your armpit back, the shoulder blades rest on the back body. Let them support your heart. It's okay. Go back to I am grateful for your little affirmation this morning. And then start to try and separate the fingers as you expand through the collarbone. Push your right heel away from you unless you're down on your back knee. If you're down on your knee, keep your back toes curled under and then start to lengthen. Now, what are we lengthening? I want you to think about tucking the tailbone under. So you're going to get a bigger stretch on your right hip flexor. And you're also going to stabilize the low back so you can curl out of the pelvis. One more breath. Slowly release. Bring your right hand down to the earth and inhale, left arm up and twist. So the twist is initiated from the right backside. I want you to wrap the right side under a little bit as you open up the left side of the body. And breathe. One more breath. And then slowly bring your hands down. If your back knee is down, that's cool. Just lift it up and step your right foot forward. Oh. Inhale, look up. And exhale, left leg back. Squeeze the legs together and come on up. This time, bring your thumbs kind of like, not under your armpit, although you could do under your armpit. I have them like just on the sides of my ribs here. And I want you to think about lifting up more. So I want you to make as much space as you can in the sides of the waist. Start to lengthen out of the pelvis. Lift the heart. What are you grateful for this morning? The second I even say that, the second I even ask myself that question, there's this like overall softening that happens in my body. You cannot have hate and gratitude or fear and gratitude coexist at the same time. Remember, that was the other thing we talked about yesterday. Gratitude is like a high vibe vibration. And if we can live in this high vibe vibration, everything gets lifted. So lift the heart. And then slowly bring your left hand down and inhale, right arm up and twist. I know I have a lot of moaning in the morning. My body's pretty tight right now. I'm not going to lie. I can definitely feel it. Think about wrapping the left side under and opening the right side. Beautiful. One more breath. Come down on your knee. Find your way back onto your hands and your knees. And this time, take child's pose. You can rest your head. Maybe you want to rest it on your blanket. Have your hands by your side, palms facing up. And I want you to think, what is one thing in your life that challenges you right now? What would that be? Just see if you can find that. I left you with that question yesterday, right? Where do you feel stuck? What's the one place that seems to be challenging you right now? And what kind of energy are you coming to with it? Are you coming like, oh, this is so challenging, this really sucks, I hate this? Or are you coming with this sense of curiosity? Wow, I wonder why this is being presented right now. What is it that I'm supposed to learn from this situation? Why is this person challenging me? Why is this situation challenging me? What am I hanging on to that it's serving at a lower vibration, right? Like yesterday we talked about, sometimes I really like to be right. My ego takes over a little bit. And so I want to like hang on to it because I'm trying to prove something. That's not going to get me anywhere. We know that. So what is one area where you're feeling a little stuck? Oh, I have a helper coming. And then slowly come back onto your hands and your knees. You're going to have to move. And make your way into downward facing dog. Oh. Step your right foot forward. I'm going to face this way. Step your right foot forward and come into a heel to arch stance. And then come on up. And if the lunge through was too hard, then just come on up and come into a heel to arch stance where your front heel is lined up with the middle of your back foot. Bend your front knee, bring your elbow to your thigh, and bring your left hand to the back of your head. So again, connecting to the heart. We can't be angry or fearful or shameful or judgment if we're connecting to the heart. Those two energies don't line up. So you're never going to feel a sense of peace. You're never going to feel a sense of gratitude. You're not going to feel calm in your body. So let everything else go. Push the back of your head into your hand and start to open the left side of the body. Open the left side of the body. And then wrap the right side under more. And then if that feels okay, reach the arm over your ear. And you know, if you want to move deeper, the right hand can touch the floor. It doesn't have to, though. Maybe you're going to watch the second time and you're going to do it at a different time of the day. Maybe the body will feel a little bit more open and you can move a little bit deeper. If you want to go for the full experience, you can reach behind and under and start to bind, then start to open up. So that would be option 3. Oh. Lengthen your tailbone. Keep wrapping the right side under. Make your back leg really strong. And then inhale and come up. Bring your back hand down. Open the palm of the right hand and reverse. Oh, yeah. Inhale, come up. Exhale, touch the earth. We're going to find our way all the way down onto your belly. We're going to do a little bit of quad stretch. Set your right forearm in front of you. Bend your left knee and grab your foot. Now, you can rest your forehead onto your right forearm, or you can walk the elbow back and lean onto the forearm a little bit. Lengthen your tailbone and try and extend out through the left knee. Push your foot into your hand into your foot. Engage your glutes. So you want to keep your butt fired up to protect the low back. And breathe. Nice long inhalations, nice long exhalations. And then slowly release and go to the other side. Push your foot into your hand into your foot. Extend out through the knee. Keep your glutes fired up to protect your low back. You can come into a little bit of a back bend in the upper body. And then slowly release. Find your way either onto your hands and your knees or downward facing dog. And we're going to take the other side. Left foot forward, drop your back heel. Come into a heel to arch stance. Front heel lines up with the middle of your back foot. One of the things I always try and offer gratitude for is my body. The ability to move the way it moves and stay healthy and pliable. And I get to do all the things that I want to do with it. Bend the front knee, even when I'm sore, right? The soreness is like, it's a reflection of the fact that I moved, that I did something that made it tired. So squeeze the legs together, wrap the left side under, open the right side now of the body. You can bring your hand behind your head for a moment, take the armpit back, and then if that feels okay, reach through the fingertips. As you reach through the fingertips, I want you to lengthen the tailbone, but not so much that you pop your right hip out. Make sure that the outer hip, it's called the greater trochanter, lines up with your knee and lines up with your ankle. Sometimes we think we're getting a bigger stretch if we're here, and I'm exaggerating it a little bit, but open the shoulder, everything nice, clean line. Tailbone down, and then reach. Imagine you were pushing your right hand into like the wall or even into my hand, and breathe. And then slowly come on up, bring your backhand down, open the palm and reverse. And then exhale, touch the earth, unplug the back foot, come back into plank. You can be on your knees, lower down, and inhale now, lift the heart. Exhale, downward facing dog. Lift the right leg up, bend the knee, open the hip, and stretch. Oh, God, that feels good. As you do that, push your left heel back. Think about drawing the top of your left thigh bone back. And then switch sides. You could also do this from your knees if you needed to. Remember all the ways to modify. Push the top of your right thigh bone back. And then slowly release. Come down on your knees. I want you to come to kneeling, bring your hands to your hips. So if you're on a harder surface, you could roll the front of your mat just like this. Bring your hands to your hips. Have your toes curled under. And if you need to manually get them there, you can curl them yourself and then come into kneeling. So this is just the first little back bend that we're going to do. We're not going to take it too deep yet. I want you to imagine you had a wall in front of you. So you could get your quads right into the wall. Now you could move over to a wall. If you're watching the replay, at a later date, find the wall. You can move over to the wall. Try and bring your quads into the wall so that as you have your hands on your hips, elbows back, shoulders back, think of this as like superhero pose, lengthen the tailbone and start to curl back a little bit. Now, as you curl back, and I gave you the image of the wall because the tendency is to lean back. It's hard to open the heart. It's not easy. If you're against a wall, you have some resistance or some feedback, not resistance, feedback. So start to move the tailbone down and open the upper back in a way that reflects the gratitude in your heart. And you can soften your eyes a little bit. If this feels okay, you could reach your hands to your heels. If that's like way too much, or you're now here, you're bypassing the opening. So back it off a little bit. If that feels okay and you're like, what am I supposed to do with my head? I want you to think about lengthening the neck. So maybe one hand is on your head. And then slowly release, uncurl your toes, sit back and find your way into child's pose. Slowly make your way into downward facing dog. Bend your knees, lift your hips, step or hop your feet forward to join your hands. Inhale and rise. And exhale, hands down. Beautiful. Okay, a little bit of a balancing pose. Now, what I will say, balancing in general is hard. I feel like balancing in the morning is even harder. So you can be in front of a wall. You could have your hand on a wall. You could have your hand on a chair, something to help stabilize. You're going to ground your left foot and then bend your right knee. You're going to hold your right foot. This should feel okay. You could also be using a wall, remember. Push your foot into your hand into your foot, because the more boundary you create, the more stable you're going to be. And then very slowly, you're going to hinge forward. Now, as you hinge forward, I don't actually want you to come down too far, but I want you to start to push your foot away into your hand. So you're opening the right shoulder. And then extend the left arm. And I want this to be more of an opening than a coming forward. So sometimes we'll be here. I want you to be more upright. The more you push your foot into your hand, the more the shoulder is going to go back. The more the shoulder is going to go back, the more the heart's going to open. The more the heart's going to open, the more gratitude you're going to feel as you're falling all over the place, of course. Have a fun time with this though, and reach through the fingers. And then slowly release and go to the other side. It's going to be a beautiful sunny day today. I can see, again, all the leaves shimmering outside, everything's starting to really get red and yellows, and colors are starting to change. Looks spectacular. Okay, shift your weight. Grab your foot. Reach the arm. Find your stability before you move. So you've got to be grounded before you move. So push your foot into your hand into your foot. Slowly start to reach through the fingertips as you start to curl back. And maybe there's going to be a little bit of wavering. Try and really find your breath in this space. I am grateful today for what? We all get to be here this morning from our home together. I would never have thought that I would say I was grateful for this kind of connection, but I am. It gives us the opportunity to do this anywhere. And then slowly release. Take your feet as wide as you need to and come into a squat. Now, if this isn't ideal, you can stay up a little bit more. If you're up and your heels are up and it looks kind of like this, you could slide your mat and ground your heels. I don't quite need that, but if your heels are up, a really good way to start to release the ankles and the Achilles tendon is to actually ground your heels. So if you need to do that, go ahead and do that. And then push the inner knees into the upper arms. Inner knees into the upper arms. And then bring your fingertips down, straighten the legs, toes point forward. They're a little wider, maybe as wide as your hips. And fold. Oh. Oh. Walk back, downward facing dog. And then bring your right knee forward into pigeon. So I will tell you, if this hurts your knee, if you already know this doesn't work for you, then what I'd like you to do is come into this position sitting up today. So you're here. So you still get to take your shoulders back. So this would be the modification. Okay. Now, if you are here, I want you to actually walk your hands back instead of coming forward just yet, and then squeeze the legs together. So the pelvis lifts. You want to keep it engaged, and then you're very slowly going to walk the hands forward. Now, because this is a heart opening practice, I want you to take your hands even maybe wider than your mat and bend your elbows out to the side as you come down so that the shoulder blades come together. It is freezing. I don't know about you, but it got way colder, way faster than I anticipated. All of a sudden, it was just freezing. I feel like usually there's a slower transition. Okay, one more breath. You're going to make your way into a three-legged downward dog. So if you've been sitting, you're going to move yourself into a three-legged downward dog, open the hip, bend the knee. Option one is to stay right here. Option two is to drop the foot behind you, scoop the tailbone, take the elbow back and lift the heart more. Oh. And then come back to downward facing dog. And let's go to the other side. Remember, the other side might be sitting and opening your hip that way. Walk the hands back. Squeeze the legs together so the pelvis lifts. And then take the hands out, bend the elbows. You might not get as far down as you might usually if you're on your fingertips. That's not my coffee yet. I'm saving that for after. It's still my morning water. Bend the elbows a little bit more. I'm grateful for coffee every single morning. I have this whole coffee ritual my partner makes for me every morning with cinnamon and collagen. And the running joke in the household is he just drinks his coffee black, and there's a whole, technique that has to happen in the morning for my coffee, which I'm super grateful for always. Take one more breath here, and then we're going to find our way into three-legged downward dog, or you're going to keep your right knee down and then open the hip. So it's all doable, and it's all scalable, and it's all modifiable. I don't think modifiable is a word. Drop your foot, scoop your tailbone, and stretch. Bring your hand behind your head if you can. Oh. And then come back to downward facing dog. Come down on your knees. Big toes together, knees apart, and find child's pose. Nice long inhalations, nice long exhalations. How am I doing? Perfect. Okay, inhale and come up. Swing your legs around. Roll yourself back down, ground your feet. If you have a ponytail in, if you're leaning on an elastic, slightly move it away so the back of your head is touching the earth. Bring your elbows by your side with your palms facing each other, and then straighten your arms. See if you could just graze your heels, because that's kind of the distance I would like you. And then engage your hamstrings by pulling your heels back towards your sit bones just a little bit and lengthen the tailbone. And then shimmy the shoulder blades underneath and stretch. You can bring your hands down by your side. Now, I want you to exhale and lower down. So we're going to add a little bit of movement here. You're going to inhale, lift the hips, reach the arms up over your head. Keep pushing the back of your head into your mat. And then you're going to exhale and lower down. Inhale and lift. And exhale and lower down. Inhale and lift. And exhale and lower down. Inhale and lift. This time I want you to hold the lift. Bring your hands down. If it's a possibility, interlace your hands behind your back. If it's not, keep your hands down. Shimmy the shoulder blades in towards the middle. Keep lifting your chin and move your heart towards your chin. So you're pushing the back of your head in towards the mat. And then slowly lower down. Notice how the back body feels here. Take your feet as wide as your mat. Take your arms out to the side, palms up. And then just windshield wiper the knees from side to side. The next time on the left side, hold it there. Reach the left arm up by your ear and stretch the whole left side of the body. And then come back to center. Drop the knees to the right. Stretch the left arm up and stretch the whole left side of the body. And then slowly come back to center and give the knees a hug. Slowly roll yourself up. And I want you to find a comfortable seated position. So if comfortable seated position is a chair, you can slide a chair over. If it's sitting on the floor, it's sitting on the floor. I'm bringing my meditation chair because that's what makes me comfortable. So I want you to find a comfortable position. We have a little bit of a breathing practice, and then we're going to sit for a few minutes. I'm going to lead you through a guided affirmation practice. So take a comfortable seat. Soften your gaze or close your eyes. Make sure that you're warm enough. So if it means grabbing your blanket or sweater. And I want you to start noticing your breath. So as you get a little bit quiet, what is the breath doing? When we first started our practice this morning, I asked you to tune into your breath and breathe into the belly and expand all the way to the collarbone. Does your breath feel a little deeper, a little bit more expansive? And we're going to start to do a 3-part breath. I like to use hands so that people have a direction. And if you find that helpful, great. If you don't and you can find that kind of expansion on your own, awesome. I'll show you a few rounds and then my voice will trail a little bit off. I'll get quiet for you and you'll do a couple of rounds on your own. So in the 3-part breath, it's inhale for a count of 3 into the belly. Pause. Inhale to the sides of the waist, like right under the breastbone. Pause. And inhale all the way to the top of the collarbone. And hold. And then we exhale for a count of 9. So it's inhale for a count of 9, but it's 3 parts. We hold for a count of 6. And then we exhale for a count of 9. You are in control of your breath. Let's do this all together. Inhale fully, just inhale fully. And exhale. Here we go. Inhale, belly. Pause. Inhale, sides of waist. Pause. Inhale, collarbone. Pause and hold. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And exhale. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale. Pause. Inhale. Pause. Inhale. Hold. And exhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Again, inhale. Pause. Inhale. Pause. Inhale. Hold. And exhale. Inhale. Pause. Inhale, pause, inhale, hold, and exhale. Let's do a couple rounds on our own. Do one more. Return to home base with the breath. I have one more breathing practice I want to share with you, and then we're going to get quiet and I'm going to just lead you through a short meditation. I would like us to do some alternating nostril breath. Nadi Shodhana is what it's called. And I love this breath, especially with the intention of gratitude, because it brings the right and the left side together. The sun and the moon, the creative and the analytical, the yin and the yang, the feminine and the masculine. And so today we're going to transfer on the inhalation. Now, if this is completely new for you, don't worry. I'm going to walk you through a few rounds and then I'm going to trail off. The traditional finger placement is the index finger and the middle finger get tucked, the thumb on one side of the nostril and the fourth and fifth finger on the other, just below the cartilage. So you can feel where the bone ends, essentially the cartilage ends. It's very subtle when you're closing your nostril. I shouldn't be seeing this kind of action. When I say transfer on the inhalation, it means we're going to inhale from one side, close that side, and exhale on the other. So I'll do a couple rounds with you. I want the breath as soft and fluid as possible. So you're not really forcing or straining, okay? If your arm gets tired, because that's what people sometimes complain about, tuck the left hand underneath and just hold it like this, because then people start to lean. We're not going to be doing it that long that your arm is going to get that tired, but if it does, just bring your hand under your elbow. So inhale fully through both nostrils and exhale fully through both nostrils. Now, if your nostrils happen to be quite blocked this morning, I'm in good shape this morning, but if anyone has ever practiced early in the morning with me, you know that a lot of times I'm quite congested. If that's the case, just do the best you can. That's what I want to say. So let's take one more breath fully through both nostrils. You're going to close the left nostril lightly and you're going to exhale through the right. And now you're going to inhale through the right. Let's say we're doing it on a count of 6. That's how slow I want your breath. Close the right nostril and exhale for a count of 6 on the left. Inhale for a count of 6 on the left. Close left, exhale right. Inhale right. Close, exhale left. Inhale left. And keep going, your own time. If you get confused or you mess up or you lose your count, just start wherever you feel you want to start. It's all amazing. Nothing bad's going to happen. You're not going to explode because you took too many breaths on your left versus your right. Just keep going. When you've exhaled on your left, you're going to release your hands and just return to home base. Get comfortable again. If you need to move or stretch, get comfortable again and settle. Soften your gaze again or close your eyes and tune back to the sweetness of home base for your breath. With a light heart, I am grateful today for. And I want you to turn the corners of your mouth up slightly, because gratitude breeds more happiness, more kindness, more love. What is one area where you could offer more gratitude today? Is it a particular person? Is it a situation? And I literally want you to take a few minutes and envision what that would be, who it would be, and what it would feel like to be able to flip that script. What would it feel like? Attach yourself to the feeling of gratitude for wherever you're thinking now. I can share with you that when I asked that question, I immediately could envision a friend of mine who I actually find quite challenging. And I'm offering more gratitude for her today. She reminds me to be patient and kind and stay curious and hold more empathy. She's literally teaching me that. Can you flip your script for the space that you're in of what's challenging you? I am grateful for this because what is it showing you? Let it rest on your heart. Your mind does not know whether it's an actual true situation or you're just thinking it. So attach yourself to that high vibe emotion. Notice what it does to the body. Notice what it does to the body. And breathe. When you start to see the situations around you in a different way, the way you see things start to change. But it starts with us. That's deep on the heart. Let gratitude leave an imprint on your heart this morning. Mm. And slowly stretch out the legs, lay all the way back down. Let's just take a couple of minutes for ourselves before we start our day. If you have time, lay all the way back down. Breathe deep into the back body. Where can you stay curious and open and shine more gratitude in your life. I am grateful today for. Throughout your day, regardless of how busy it gets, notice how the day unfolds, starting with gratitude. Every situation, every interaction is an opportunity to shine more love, more kindness, more empathy. I can't tell you enough how in desperate need the world is of this. This is important work that we're doing. Don't get swept away. Take as much time as you need to arrive back into your space, into your body. And I will see you soon. Namaste.